So Amos, first of all, I must say welcome and thank you so much for accepting to be part of this interesting conversation. You know, we are right now at a time where it's uncertainties. You know, we're not sure about tomorrow. We're not sure about the next week. A lot of people had never experienced this in their lifetime. I mean, the last time we had such a tragedy was probably in 1918 when you had the Spanish flu that left millions dead. And of course, COVID-19 has or is the biggest tragedy of the 21st century as of now. You know, I mean, over 200 companies have been affected by this virus. You know, businesses have pretty much started really struggling to survive. You know, I mean, if you think about the economic crisis, the last remarkable economic crisis was probably the Great Depression in the 1930s. And if you fast forward for many of the millennials, we are talking of probably the crisis in around 2008, where, you know, we had the whole financial system getting really shaken up. Yeah. But you see, what is really crucial for me in discussing this, and why I think that, Amos, you're a very critical person for this discussion, is two things, actually. First and foremost, you are leading a company that is employing so many people at this point of time, where you can't afford to stay out in the dark. You have to innovate and survive to be, to stick out for these times. But also, when we think about, I was reading something from McKinsey and Company. It's a global. It was talking about, what companies need to think about, and I think I shared this with you earlier. You know, the idea to resolve, because right now it's a shock. Okay, it's a shock for many of the companies. I am supposed to be in an office, operating from an office, but I'm operating from my own house, you know? And the 5 horizons that businesses need to be thinking about are: 1, resolve, you know? How do you address the immediate challenges that COVID has represented or presented in our businesses, you know? And these, of course, goes with, cash management, and the challenges that are going to happen. You know, people's shops have been closed for two weeks, some of them 3 weeks, but they still have to pay rent, for instance, you know. So all of these shutdowns we need to be thinking about. It would be folly for us to think about, oh, we are in a bad situation, we may stay here. I think it's about us innovating to see how we can get out of this. So returning becomes the third. Then the fourth, of course, is reimagination. You know, how do you reimagine the next normal? Because Amos, business is not going to be as usual. How you are doing business is completely going to change, you know. Yeah. I saw you bragging about how you had never heard about Zoom. Now we are meeting over Zoom. And Amos, you have declined or moved away from many of my invites for tea and coffee. Look at how we are meeting in a Zoom environment, you know. Things are really changing. So imagination. But finally, reform, reform. So how, it's important for businesses to be clear about how regulatory and competitive these environments are going to be moving forward. Look at the aviation sector, so many regulations are going to come in that are going to change this. So Amos, this is just to give us context of our discussion of what we're in and what we're going to really discuss today. So let me begin with the first question, Amos. And again, many people do not know or probably do not know who you are. And it's amazing that this is going to be a platform where many of them will actually get to know you. I saw you advertising an interesting Stanbic t-shirt, but I also think this is also an interesting way of advertising your Great Lakes safaris to the world. So Amos, who is Amos Wekesa and what is Great Lakes safaris?
Amos Wekesa, I'm a guy that was born in 1973 in a village called Wakaka, I would like to call it, in a much smaller village called Bumbo, close to Wakaka. I was born in abject poverty, which is so clear. Not going to school by the age of 10. I was taken up by Salvation Army Children's Home. It was a home of less advantaged kids. We were 45 boys. I went to a nursery school at the age of 10. Primary school, I loved it a lot because I was excited to be in school. I went to secondary school, fairly okay, S1, fairly okay, S2, and started deteriorating as years went on. But I think what gave a lot of, maybe my guardian, for example, the Salvation Army, was that I had certain traits that kept them, because normally they used to send away guys like that. They would send you to either technical school after primary 7 or primary or S4. Right. But they didn't send me out, and I keep thinking sometimes it's because I had certain traits that were very important, I think, for the time. One, I'm still a very good cleaner. I can sweep, clean the house. I used to clean for the
Right.
I mop. As one of my exercise things in the house, I mop, I clean, I wash dishes. I wash dishes properly. I think I was her favorite in terms of washing, cleaning up. The other one was that I was very friendly. I had a lot of people across the board. Toronto town, a lot of people knew me in school. People knew me. I did a lot of sports, which was also good. I played so many sports. When I got a chance to do anything, I could take badminton. I think in a week, and I was able to start. I came and competed at the national level, which was with the bigger boys, which was really good. Played tennis. A levels, I liked acting, scouting, all the things that I also encourage my children to do. I realized that education is not just about reading books; it's about getting to understand certain things. If you do sports,
very true.
How to win, how to lose. That's what life is all about. In business, you lose, you win so many times. Anyway, I came 96. I failed my A levels to Kampala, and did a certificate for 9 months, and I started out as a sweeper, working for about 20,000 shillings a month at Belex.
Wow.
Then I became an office messenger, earning 30,000 shillings with Nile Safaris. Then I became a tour guide, earning $1 a day, and that's when I discovered my talent.
$1 a day.
Yeah, $1 a day.
$1 a day. Wow.
Yes, and I knew that as a young man, I didn't need to rush for the money. I needed to rush for a skill. That's what I lacked. And a lot of young people today struggle so much because they run for the money and they don't understand that when you have a skill. Tony, you're a very skilled guy. I've just been reading about you online, where you went to school. It's like Oxford Brooks produces very nice characters, because my marketing manager is actually an alumni of Brooks.
I was with her around the same time. Yes, I was with her and her husband Malinga.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I was wondering. Yeah, brilliant. She's a fantastic addition to our business, and which is a good thing. But I think you guys, we must look out for a skill, and the skill comes at a cost. You have to be willing to be patient. You have to be willing to go through the tunnels. I used to earn $1 a day, like I've said, and I did not even have a good boss. I had a boss who was very abusive. Always thought Ugandans are useless, but I realized there's one thing that I was getting from it. I was learning a lot. I was discovering myself. Yeah. So then, of course,
let me just park that there. One of my favorite speakers has always said this. Miles Monroe, and unfortunately he's deceased, but he always said, never ever think about what you are getting from the job. You should always think about what you are becoming from the job. Yeah. Your experiences are just a demonstration of that. What are you becoming from that experience? People talk about, this situation of my workplace is toxic. I need to leave the place. I need to move out of the place. I think it's about how you move or how you get out of the place, who you become. And I think your story is a very good example of that.
Well, and absolutely. And yeah, Tony, that's very true. How you become is very key. Because you see, the first thing I tell young people is that first, look for the skill. After you've gotten a very, very good skill, look at your personality, look at your character as a person. And the next thing you move to is try to look for networks. However skilled you are as an individual, if you do not have a network that gives you an opportunity to apply your skills, it becomes a problem. Yeah. Now, when you have a skill and then you have a network and you're able to apply your skill, you get the third thing, is the money. The money comes in a very easy way. And then, of course, the fourth one becomes influence. And that's how it works. But those networks must be able to trust you. As in tourism, you have about, as an entrepreneur, you have about 3% of the amount of money that a tourist pays you. And as an enterprise, because an entrepreneur runs an enterprise will have about 15-20%. Now, these guys pay us a year in advance. My networks pay us money a year, 2 years in advance. And you are bankers, you understand this very well. Now, I have to be trusted with those networks. Know that when I send money to Great Lakes Safaris, I am going to go there and they'll be pick me. When they tell me I'm going to stay in Serena, I am not going to be put in some Go Cool. They know it.
Right.
Without character, networking without a skill is sometimes a wastage of time. Serious people will not want to network with people without a skill to offer or something to offer. Anyway, then I began out as...
it has to be.
Yeah. Then, of course, my last job was working on a desk at Afrique Voyage, and I was earning 150,000 shillings a month. But what I want people to know is that I came from poverty.
Yeah.
I went through the Bagis ritual in 1990.
The process.
But after 1990, even in my village, people who didn't help me were trying to ask me, Amos,
Yeah.
because you're supposed to get married.
Yeah.
And then at 17, you're supposed to get married. But I refused. You know,
Wow.
I was trying to be put under pressure. I said, no, I knew I was. You have to understand your circumstances as a human being. So anyway, I saved up $200 and began my first business. I was just sharing a picture of myself on my Facebook page of my, it was called what? A no problem. You remember that bag? You're young. You're not.
I remember. No problem. I remember the bag.
Yeah, so I had that bag. I had
Right.
that boys, had that book. I had my phone, my first phone. And so I would go around trying to, I would meet Tony and I said, Tony, you're driving a Mercedes Benz. It's 190. I can create the wedding opportunities for your account Saturdays. When you're poor, I really don't care because a lot of people used to abuse me. And then I had a lot of different cars at that time. And I would attend wedding meetings, invited. So I would go to, you'd find me every day at our Toto wedding meetings, rooms. You'd find me at the National Theatre. And every time they said needed cars for hire for the wedding, I would say, yes, I have them.
You knew who. Yeah.
Opportunity don't come to you. You go to.
You have to go to opportunity. You have to move to opportunity. And this is what I keep saying, the mantra has to be about going to the opportunity. You can't just sit down and pray and hope for it to come to you. It doesn't fall like manna from heaven, You have to look for it. I was talking to someone and saying, maybe some of us are not really hungry, I mean, you see some people coming into your community and within 5 years, they're making so much money and they're progressing so much as compared to you who has been in this, same community. And what are they doing? They're looking at the same ecosystem you've been looking at the same opportunities, but with a different outlook, So you have to look for those opportunities. So that is quite interesting, Amos.
No, Tony, I think, Tony, you're very right. And I think I've been living in Mienga till a month ago, and I just went into our own house. We were renting. Just entered our own house about 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way. I saw that. I mean, I really, really saw that. For a man who's making so much money like you, it shocked me that you delayed to get into your own house. I mean, everyone right now is getting any small money to move into their own houses. So maybe that's another story for another day.
No, but you're right. For you to grow a business or to grow anything, you have to understand where your strength lies. Owning a house is not a privilege at all. You don't even sell. In fact, such a house that we have entered, we designed it in the way that in future it can become Airbnb. If we're older and everything to do, you need to have a plan. Just do things for the sake of doing. Then if I had built the same house, I've been in business, I've been in tourism for 25 years. I've been in my own business as a person. Next year we make 20 years. If I had done the same, if I had built the same building, say 18 years ago, or 15 years ago, which we could have probably, it would have probably not been in the same location. It would have been not same quality. But we would have also we would have removed money that grows a business into satisfying our personal interests. I in fact, rent is much better than being able to have your own house. If I had my own way, if I didn't have a family, I would probably be renting. I don't mind about that. But that does not mean we did not have interest in we had interest in properties elsewhere. Anyway. That said, of course, I did out in a briefcase for 9 months. So every Saturday at 6 o'clock, you find me at Watoto Washing Bay, then what was called KPC. And people would come, make sure they have their cars and wash. By 6 o'clock, I used to walk from the slum. I used to live in a room So by 6, I would have the guys cleaned, and then I would hand over to the guy's wedding. And I would make sure everybody that I took a service from was paid. There's no single person whose car we had at that time in town that can say that Wekesa cheated me. There's no single guy. Just like
Right.
They can tell you. They will tell you that there's no single day any of our employees can say that guy cheated us. He never paid us. No. As you work, as you work, at the end of the day, keep what is yours, and what is not yours, make sure it goes to the owners. I think that's what I believe in. And I also believe
very true.
Blessings don't come through you trying to amass things for yourself. Blessings come through you being fair to other people. You may never be 100% sure because we don't know the measure of fairness. But the truth is that if a client has given me money and I provide a service, an employee has provided a service, and I also give them the resources at the end of the month, I am happy at the end of at the end of it all.
Okay. Now, also, let me just get back now to this serious question that I think is very pertinent right now. You're in a business that, it's a tourism business. Your tourism journey is quite amazing. You were the first Ugandan to own a camp to build a camp in one of the national parks in Uganda, the first indigenous Uganda.
Well, the truth is that we have had so many challenges as a business before, and those challenges have been an opportunity for us to learn. And I saw in 1999 when I was working as a tour guide, first March 1999, I don't know whether you were born at the time. There was a raid in Windy.
I was.
I survived that raid. Yeah, I survived where they killed the tourists, American tourists, and so on and so forth. Right. I survived that by a day. And when I came to Kampala that same day when they killed the guys, the day before, we went and camped in Katakwi, and we were going to Kidepo. We left Kidepo on the second day, I think. We left Katakwi, we went to have lunch in Moroto, and then we went to Kotido. And then between Kotido and Kabong, we also survived another raid.
Raid. Wow.
Between the Jays, in Karamoja you have the Jays. There's a border of the Jays. Between the Jays border and the Labors. The Labors are more closer to the land.
Yes. And this was the time when there were so many arms within the same territory. So it was very hard to kind of control the guns that were in that area.
Absolutely. So we were in a convoy. They actually shot almost all the cars that were behind us, and we survived. And so I have missed the Windy massacre. I have survived this, but that time took us back as a country, took us back as tourism, and it registered in my head. I am a learner. I love learning. I'm curious. If you're a business person, you have to be very curious. So that was one of the biggest problems and setbacks for Uganda's tourism. Then we've been having so many setbacks in terms of politics. So every time you have had a challenge of politics, there's been a problem. Every time you had a problem of Kony, I remember the attack on this man who died at the school. I was there.
Jimmy Sekasi.
Yeah, I was a tour guide at that time. I was driving, but you just missed it, That's why I believe in God with all my heart. I know for sure that
it's important.
If your day hasn't come, if God hasn't sanctioned your day, I think you has to be okay. Now,
true.
The worst was in 2014, July. 2014, we had gone with your colleague. 2013, we had gone with your colleague, your former schoolmate Sheila, to London. We had convinced Arsenal as a team to come. She should tell you that.
Wow.
Come.
All right.
I think, sometime there for 2-3 days to go to Windy, and because we had a good chat. He said, Africa is your biggest source of support. In Africa, the highest concentration of your support is in Uganda. We were convincing. Right. She was putting up the selling. So we're there excited about
So this was before actually Rwanda took on the whole idea, because this visit to Rwanda, you were the architects, right?
We had gone before. We had an opportunity before for the discussion, but it was a company that we're a company. And then what happened? So we're excited about the year, just like we're excited about this year. 1st July, Ebola breaks out in West Africa. For 9 months, we had 70% of our business go down. But what helped us is that we always have a kitty. I always tell people that you need to understand your positions at every time, as a businessman. Don't eat everything that you get. You see, making money has stages. One is look for we've talked about look for the skill, look for the networks. But when you get, you start, the first thing is look for an income. If you want to grow well, look for an income. The second thing, be able to save part of that income. The third thing, think about how to invest part of the saved income. Yeah.
Right.
Number 4, which is the most difficult thing, especially in countries like ours, is lifestyle. Now, if you have a lifestyle that does not allow you to be able to save, we live a very normal life. I drive a 20-year-old car. My wife drives another maybe 23-year-old car. You know what I'm talking about. We're okay.
Yeah,
we're
but do you
happy.
mind me asking? Okay. But do you mind asking me how? I mean, what's your worth right now? Ideally, on average.
I have no idea actually. I've never sat there and thought about. We're not bad luck. It's okay. The thing is that in Uganda, we are probably one of the top 3 safari companies in the country in terms of pursuing what we're pursuing. But the truth is that if we went to Kenya, in Kenya, any person with my name, like we have here, would be able to turn over $100 million a year, $50 million a year. But because our economy is small, our potential for tourism has not taken off yet. And that's something that we all need to appreciate, that Uganda's tourism has not even hit 1% of the potential that there is for us.
Wow.
Now that said, based on our levels, in Kenya, I wouldn't be even counted among the top 50, you know, even when I'm among the top 5 in this country in as far as real safari business is concerned. But having a lifestyle that supports the business is a very key thing. The other thing is that for the last 14 years, I think your colleague can tell you, last 14, 15 years, I earn a salary and I have to live within my salary. But I'm also, of course, fortunate that I'm able to understand how to grow money on the side, as I'm always having a lot of things that I'm doing on the side, growing money. You know, I understand a bit of growing money growth at an individual level, and different things that I do. Now, as an SME, one of the problems with SMEs is that they are the business and the business is them. They will wake up, your auntie is sick, you go and withdraw money from your own business and try to support your auntie. You need school fees for your children, you go and get the money from, you know, the kitty. I think you need to separate yourself from business. I separated myself from the business probably 15 years ago, and it has helped me. But at the same time, also surrounding yourself with the right people, you know, surrounding yourself helps you. I know my strength. I also know my weaknesses. If you come to our building headquarters, I am the only one without a university degree, and I'm not going to get one anytime soon. But I read.
Right. It's important.
I read, very well informed in as far as every 2 hours that I read every day, 40 minutes or 30 minutes is on the subject called tourism. So I'm always aware of the trends that
so you're improving your craft. It's improving your craft. You know, you are good at it. I mean, many people, I speak to very many young people who follow me, and you know, we keep talking about their aspirations or their businesses, and many of them are in the tourism sector, and they keep seeing you or considering you a godfather in the tourism sector. So when you say that you read a lot about the same sector, that means learning never stops, but also, you know, you better yourself, which is, I think, what's really important for them as businesses, to understand that you have to keep on learning and relearning and learning and relearning.
Absolutely. You need to learn, but you also need to surround yourself with the right people. It's not just... If you join a group of 10 fools, like Fajiri Mande says, you become the automatic 11th fool. Now, you need to understand you need to understand that the company you keep has a lot of influence on your own life. And as an individual, I have learned that. But at the same time, also you need to understand your strength and your weaknesses. No single person can give you all the different aspects of things that you need. If it is marriage, find someone who has understood marriage and just be able to associate them once in a while. If it is accounting, and find someone who understands accounting. If it is about business growth, find someone who has knowledge in the business growth, and open up people that are able to help you. But at the same time, you know, people don't just want people who want to depend on them. People want people that can bring value to them. Bring value. I have a mentor. He's maybe probably $800 million worth. maybe $800 million worth. He's not a Ugandan guy. He's one of the guys that sits on Surrey University. You know Surrey University in the UK.
Yes, yes, I do.
But he started his business in a very, very funny, interesting way. He just started from nothing, and he has grown business to close to $1 billion of worth right now. But that guy is here 3 times a year, sometimes. But when he comes, I pick him from the airport. I make sure I look after his bills. He's very rich. Then I make sure we go to a national park, and I'll be able to talk now about things. He has traits that I like. This guy hardly flies business class.
Right.
He's very, very well.
Right. If you
find him on the streets, you will not believe it. He has a lot of businesses in Africa. He has a lot of businesses in Asia. He has a lot of businesses in Europe. But if the guy flies economy class, he has a lot of stuff. He has a personal game reserve in Port Elizabeth. In Kenya, he has a business. I don't know if you have heard about. It's called a poo business.
No.
What he did, he went to Kibera Slum and said, "Okay, what can I do?" He's very thoughtful guy. He has a PhD. Yeah. Right. This guy went to Kibera Slum and said, "What business can I do?" Asked himself, "What business can I do in the slum?" He created toilets that divide the hard from the soft. And then he went to China and got a machine at $700,000. And he collects about 15 tons of waste from Kibera slums every day. And he transforms that hard stuff into manure, and he supplies the Unilever farms. I think what I'm talking about.
Right. That's about, really being imaginative, but also using what we would consider no opportunity to become real opportunity, and it's really massive. I think Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were also trying out something of the same, where they're using human waste to recycle it actually into either new drinking water or fertilizer and so on and so forth. So that is quite actually interesting,
Yes, he has made them. He has made those guys. And I think that's one of the reasons they were trying to design that toilet. I think Bill Gates was trying to design. That guys, they've met the guy, and as I speak, they're trying to put it on London Stock Exchange. It's called a Booby business. People are going to buy shares into it. But you're meeting people that think basing on very basic. They use very basic knowledge. A lot of Ugandans, especially who are educated, they have a feeling that you need to do the most complicated things. You need the most complicated formula for you to survive or to grow.
Yeah, you need a concept note of about 50 pages to really make sense, Yet you can actually do it in a 2-pager briefer,
Even none. You can just wake up and say, I'm going to Rumero buy oranges, and I come to Kampala and sell those oranges via aggressive.
Right.
You need notification. I was writing on my Facebook page this week, and I was telling guys about when I was starting. Even when I was an office messenger, even when I had 20,000 shillings as an income, I always saved. I survived on, my rent was less than 5,000 shillings in a slum. I survived on 100 shillings every day. There's a lady who used to cook for me cassava and beans in Kamwani. And I would eat 3/4 in the evening with a lot of water and leave a quarter for breakfast. That's how I survived.
Right. I mentioned that because it is the real hustle life. It is a real hustle life. And for you as a businessman, building on these experiences to grow your business into a multi-billion business that it is today, it's quite amazing, your focus, because I can see you haven't lost touch with the reality of your past, which is something that has also molded you and also molded a lot of your decisions. But it also gives you the ability of the next thing I want to talk about, helping people, because you have staff who have been working with you. They're right now redundant, but we also believe that there's a post-corona time,
Yes.
So what are you doing to maintain this stuff within your organization? And also, where do you hope, or what do you hope to do or see them post-corona?
Well, what we have done right now, we've probably sent home about 80 people right now home, but they have been paid. They got 100% of their salary for March. We'll also be paying them, of course, for the next coming month. We probably can pay people for the next 6 months or I don't know 5 months. I don't know
You're
yet.
very lucky. You're very lucky. Yeah, you're very, very lucky because most businesses cannot do that or might not be able to do that. And I think it's quite interesting to hear that you're saying that you can do that. But go on.
Yeah. The truth is that because of when you're running an enterprise, the enterprise is fairly dependent on the entrepreneur. The lifestyle of an entrepreneur, everything that we're doing now as a family, could probably do a little. Or we like I said, if you're an entrepreneur and every single year you want the latest number plate, you want the latest this,
yes, it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Our economy is a dangerous economy. Something small comes up and you're back down. You start afresh again. We're always starting,
Yeah.
Like I said, our ability to be able to put aside some little money for the days that are not that you're not in charge of, like right now. That is the reason why you're able to do this at this particular time. I remember actually your colleague you're with in university sent a message, like every staff sent a message and said, we realize that tourism has laid off every employee. But you paid us this. I was also able to pay the house girl. The house girl also was able to send money to a housemate.
Right. Sent to her family. Right.
So you realize that when you're an entrepreneur, beyond what you're able to eat, beyond your basics in life, it does not matter how much money you have on the account. It just becomes a number. After you have your shelter, your food, you know what I'm talking about. Then it becomes, if you have a $500,000, that is your money. And about $500,000 becomes community money. How you become a steward, and that's how you need to understand. How are you influencing people? How are you able to pay people? How are you able to spend time and be able to educate young people? Like I do a lot of times. I do a lot of education for young people as well. So it is important for people to put on the side some savings at every one point. Living far below your means is a very, very key thing as an entrepreneur. But at the same time, you need to keep communicating. Now, for us to keep afloat for the future of the business, we're already engaging with our wholesalers. We probably handle the highest amount of tour operators, wholesalers in Europe, for Uganda and Rwanda as a business. We're having a lot of business for that. Number two, we're engaging them. We have a small representation in London, out of the UK. We have a small representation out of New York. And all these guys, we're formulating our messages. If there's a young man who has been following our messages, coming here. But at the same time, we're also making sure that we refund monies for the clients that, have decided not to come.
Booked in advance. Right.
We learned that in 2014. Every client that wanted their money back, we gave them their money back. But between 2014 and 2019, the same clients came back, traveled with us.
Came back to you. Exactly.
So, if we had been greedy and said, let's take on their money, we would have lost a name.
Right.
Many years ago,
Many
years ago, a satisfied client would be able to tell 3 to 4 people. A dissatisfied one would tell between 10 to 11 people. But because of internet today, one dissatisfied client and writing a bad review about you on internet can it can affect your business forever. It's bigger than it used to be. True. So in everything that you do, be mindful of what your client gets back. Anyway, but also that as a business, I didn't tell you, my mentor calls me. I was with my wife, sitting, and the mentor calls me and says, Amos, I know this thing is going to take a year. And he gave me the reasons why he thinks it's going to take a year, And he said, but count yourself as a person who's been covered by my business. We have committed, we'll cover you should anything go wrong. I said, what? And I thought that was...
Wow.
But I told him, no, it will have to be very hard for me to come to you to ask for rescue.
Yes.
We're going to work within our means and until the time when we're able to take off. So that's very, very
Yeah. We're talking about government bailouts, how the government can actually assist in such situations. For most countries like the US, businesses, SMEs are getting bailouts from the government. Some of them are, of course, some of it, of course, is through handouts and so on and so forth. Sectors like the tourism sector are very crucial for this economy? Do you think a government bailout would be the best way to go, or what would you think would be the immediate interventions to keep many of your smaller guys or your smaller partners afloat?
You know, the truth is that government, just like all of us as individuals, government has been living above their means. We've also as individuals been living above our means. The other thing that we have also done is that we are more of a consumer society as opposed to a productive society. I was telling guys the other day on radio, and I said, guys, much as we're not bringing in Forex, some people are earning Forex. If you go to any bank in Kampala, some people in foreign countries are earning. If you go to any petrol station, you go to any of the petrol stations, someone out there will be earning. If you go to, you know, it's an economy that supports external capitalists as opposed to supporting media capitalists. And I think that's why this program of yours is very important, for you to make sure that young people start aspiring. We need to aspire to own banks. We need to aspire to own hotels. We need to aspire to own insurance. We need to aspire, you know, I have a dream. My dream,
I call it local content, and I'm one of the biggest promoters when it comes to this. The passion for local content. How can we get Ugandans to run things the way we want them to run? Otherwise, the money won't stay.
It will never stay. I mean, and I tell you guys, as Amos, I am thinking by the age of 57, I'm going to be 47 at the end of this month. I should be able to be one of the owner of a 5-star hotel. But for me to be, I need to do the things I'm doing. I should do them right. You know, if you come to Private Lodge, you should eat a meal in a 5-star environment. You should enjoy yourself. You should be able to say, I went there, I had fun. The driver was quality. The client, the staff was dressed well. If I don't do those things right now well, I cannot be able to prepare myself for a 5-star hotel. A 5-star hotel with the time I want to have it. But that said, the other thing that you need to do as an entrepreneur is be part of a bigger picture. Are you being able to negotiate? Are you pushing government for the bigger things of your industry? And that's something that I've been pushing as an individual as well. All of us to try and protect jobs, they need to get at least rid of the statutory payments like NSSF, pay and withholding tax. We have asked government to do that, such that the employers can be able to keep the staff for the next 3, 4, 5 months. The other thing that we have asked to do is to restructure, to talk to the banks so that they can restructure loans, especially for the bigger guys who have borrowed $1 million, $20 million, $50 million. But for the smaller guys, what we have asked government of Uganda to do, government had borrowed $91 million from World Bank, and $49 million was supposed to be for tourism, and it was supposed to be for improving sites. What we have told the bank, what we have told government is that let the $49 million go into a kitty under, UDB, for the young guys who are coming into the industry who need $5,000 to survive for the next 6 months, who need $20,000 to survive next month, instead of and maybe at 2% if they can prove that they will be able to pay it. You know, we are pushing for that. After this discussion right now, I am going to be engaging in that discussion again. Then the other thing that we have also asked to do, yesterday I had a Zoom discussion with the Minister of Finance and other guys, we're about 27, discussing some things. But what I'm trying to say is, don't just sit there as an entrepreneur in agriculture. Be part of the things that push for the bigger picture. It is okay to push for a smaller picture, but you will never grow until you be a part of a bigger picture. If I push for tourism, I remember one of the key guys in revenue, Uganda Revenue Authority, said, Amos, you're one of the few entrepreneurs who come to these boardrooms and only pushes national issues. You never push any, if you have a problem with us, you never bring it up. I said, it actually helps me in the long run. If many tourists come to this country, I'll be happy. Why do I entrepreneurs? When another tour operator grows, like me or not, I will also grow. They'll find themselves in one of my hotels. They'll find themselves in one of my interests. They also grow.
Quick thinking, yes. That's quite interesting. But you see, it's. I mean, many people will say, okay, Amos is thinking about this from a nationalistic point of view because he can probably survive to go through the long run. Many of the businesses had not anticipated this, you know. And again, technology is one of those things that we are now seeing very crucial. We train, or I had a unit that trains or has trained over 500 to 600 businesses in the last 2 years. And we have been using the normal mode of training, which is, classroom setup or lecture setup, lecture room setup, and, you have the trainings. And we've had to think or innovate, because now we're saying, how about we do online tutoring? And you know what? The guys are actually saying it is worth it, and it's worth trying out. SMEs and businesses in your space, what do you think could be, how do you think we can relate in terms of IT and innovation, especially now and beyond COVID? Because I do believe this is going to be a very, very huge thing as we move ahead.
Tony, the first thing is Zoom. I have been having many people from meetings. And I would have to leave my Mutungo office, drive for an hour, going for an hour, drive back in an hour, 3 hours wasted. Like now I would be going to somewhere, Java Cafe to meet Tony and then have a discussion with Tony. But now I am able to finish within this 1 hour of our discussion. And I'm able to get what I want. But the other thing is that people need to understand that the idea of positioning. Ugandans fear to share good, interesting ideas. I share interesting ideas and people follow me, including my own clients. What happens is that because I share, people want to share with me. I get lots of information. When you keep good information to yourself, you don't grow. I am a product of society. Because I share, people share with me. Every week I'm writing an article or something, my experiences, just to teach young people. Now, if you look at my Facebook page, I don't write so much about Great Lakes Safaris. In fact, sometimes the people at the office complain because it's very popular, a popular word. It has its good market. Now, I just wrote an article last week about building a house, and it reached close to 300,000 people. But I don't know how many WhatsApp groups who are sharing everywhere. Now, what happens?
I actually saw it through a WhatsApp group.
Now, what happens with those people when their friend is coming to Uganda? They say that's the best guy to work with. People in businesses, smaller businesses like ours, they buy first into you as an individual, then buy into what? Into the bigger picture. Now, we need to first understand: do we have the right message? Do we have the right tools to use to put out that message? Is the message authentic? Is what I'm talking about. Now, Facebook alone for us could be giving us, during a good time, probably my Facebook could be giving us business of worth $15,000 a month. I'm just telling you an example. Use of internet and websites. So Great Lakes Safaris has got LinkedIn, it's got Facebook. You know what I'm talking about? All this kind of that they come and buy it.
Right.
True. They say that for someone to buy a product, he needs to have seen that product for at least 27 times. He needs to get so tired.
It reminds me about a lot of these young boys who are selling, chewing gum and all these orbit things in the traffic jam. The guys come to your window and really persist, and you're like, no, I'm not buying, and they persist. And you're like, you know what? I have this random 1,000 in my pocket. Let me just give it. But that is the art of selling, the ability to persist. And staying relevant in these COVID times is also going to be about how we can persist through this trying moment, Many people, if they have no proper business plans, are going to go down under. And again, this is where we want to speak more about business planning. You see, in business planning, and Amos, I'll shock you that if you think about the businesses out in our country, in our ecosystem, Uganda has so many SMEs, If you think about their major issue and why many of them fail, they have no business plan. They cannot speak to their growth within 1 year, 2 years to 5 years. Now, the challenge with that is that because you can't speak to your growth for the next, say, 1 year, 2 years, even how you act, you were just talking about how the business or the entrepreneurs behave in terms of the culture of spending. Everything will be distorted, Everything is automatically distorted. So what we try to say is, can we have a frank discussion on business sustainability? And I think these COVID times have actually made it more important and more crucial for most businesses to have a soul searching and ask themselves, if they're doing their business the right way.
Yes. No, I agree with you.
Now, yeah,
I agree.
Please go on.
I agree with you. Just last week, we had a major meeting on the weekend on Saturday on Zoom again. I'm very grateful for Zoom. We discussed about next year. We're engaging our local agents, tour operators, European tour operators. We're putting out rates for hotels, and we're saying before July 2021, what would be the rates? Now, in such a time, it's easy for someone to get so discouraged about life and be able to give up on their own business. Right?
Yes.
You lose hope, you have lost everything. Right now, for us, we're working like things will be okay. We leave everything to God, but in our responsibility.
This will pass. It's just a phase, Absolutely. It will pass.
And if you'll see, any project that we started, even in my own home, you can hear the noise finishing certain things. Elephant planes that were still going on. We're actually still making sure that it's finished by end of this month. Don't start up new big projects, but projects that you had started on that you can prepare right now, because I also believe that if we had clients this month, I would have not been able to position elephant planes to be what it is. We want to go to $1,000 a room a night, but we're preparing it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's right. No, Amos, thank you so much. I mean, this has been a very interesting conversation, and you know what you've done? The ability to inspire hope in not just me, but I guess the guys who are watching this and also listening to this, because we're going to create also a podcast to be aired out. This for me is a very good, frank discussion on the need for us to be resilient, need for us to be hopeful, but also most important of all, we need to keep learning. And Amos, you have told me and you have proven to me that learning is not about university degrees. It's about your curiosity, it's about your intuition, and it's about your ability to really have a passion for what you're doing. And you are one great guy. I thank you so much.
By God's grace, thank you, man. Thanks, cheers.
All right. Take care, and until we meet again physically this time.
All right.